Listen up, Rams fam. We need to talk about what's happening right now with our squad, because this is the moment we've been waiting for all season long. And if you're not paying attention, you're missing out on something absolutely electric happening in Horns Nation. Davante Adams just dropped some serious fire about his intentions for the rest of this campaign. And let me tell you, this is the exact energy we need heading into the crucial stretch of our playoff push. 2 weeks back against Jacksonville, we all witnessed something truly special when Tay put on an absolute clinic, hauling in 3 touchdowns and reminding the entire league why he's considered one of the most lethal weapons in football. That performance wasn't just good, it was a statement, a declaration that the Rams' offense is hitting another gear at precisely the right moment. But here's where it gets really interesting and why every single person wearing horns needs to understand the mentality we're dealing with here. While the rest of the NFL kept grinding through their schedules during our BI week, Adams had to sit back and watch other receivers climb up those statistical leaderboards. Now, some players might use that break to relax, decompress, maybe lose a little bit of that competitive edge, but not our guy, not Davante Adams. This dude is built differently, and he made it crystal clear on Wednesday that he's got one thing on his mind, and that's absolute domination for the remainder of this season. When asked if any part of him didn't want that week off after such a monster performance, Adams didn't hesitate for even a second. He straight up told Coach McVay that he wished they could have kept rolling at that exact moment. Think about that for a second. We're talking about a veteran receiver who has been through countless grueling NFL seasons, someone who understands the value of rest and recovery, and he's sitting there telling his head coach he'd rather keep playing. That's not just dedication. That's the kind of championship mentality that transforms good teams into great ones, and great teams into Super Bowl contenders. Adams explained how the competitor inside him was watching other players continue to rack up numbers while he had to sit around for a week, and you could feel the hunger in his word. Sure, the mature part of any player appreciates a break, especially when you're deep into the season and the body is taking hits week after week. But Ty's competitive fire is burning so hot right now that he actually wanted to keep going, especially because his body feels good. That last part is crucial, because when a player of Adams' caliber feels physically right and is performing at an elite level, you want to ride that wave as long as possible. Now, let's talk about what Coach McVay had to say about this conversation, because his perspective gives us even more insight into the special dynamic we're witnessing unfold in real time. McVay confirmed that Adams came to him after that Jacksonville beatdown, expressing that he didn't want a week off. The coach's response was perfect, telling him to enjoy his beautiful family and make the most of the mandatory break. But here's what McVay really understands, and what makes him such a brilliant offensive mind. He recognizes that sometimes when you've got serious momentum building, taking a pause can feel counterintuitive to a competitor's instinct. The really exciting part is what McVay expects moving forward. He's anticipating that Adams will continue riding that momentum, and if Wednesday's practice was any indication, we're about to see more fireworks from this connection between Tay and Matthew Stafford. McVay called it really cool, watching how organically this relationship between 2 future Hall of Famers is developing. With increasing comfort in their dialogue and discussion, we're witnessing 2 elite players who are continuously getting on the same page, and when that happens at this level of football, defenses simply cannot stop it. What gets me absolutely fired up is how McVay broke down what really happened during that Jacksonville game. Because while we all saw those 3 touchdowns on the highlight reels, the coaching staff and players saw something even more impressive throughout the entire week of preparation. McVay emphasized the intentionality that Adams brought to practice, talking about how practice, preparation, and performance equal game reality. That principle was on full display against the Jags, but it wasn't just about the touchdowns that made SportsCenter. Adams had 2 other critical completions that might have flown under the radar for casual observers, but were absolutely crucial to the offensive flow. There was a fantastic bench cut route where Adams and Stafford connected when the weather conditions got nasty and it started raining again. Picture this scenario. You're in the high fringe area of the field on 2nd and 10. The rain is coming down, and you need to convert to keep the drive alive. Adams runs a precise route, Stafford delivers a perfect ball, and they move the chains like they've been playing together for a decade. Then there was that play-action deep curl route on the inside edge of the numbers that resulted in another significant catch, showing the versatility and route tree that makes Adams virtually impossible to game plan against. But wait, there's more. Adams was also drawing pass interference penalties throughout that game, which might not show up in the stat sheet the way touchdowns do, but any real football mind knows that drawing flags, creating automatic first downs, is just as valuable as making the catch yourself. When a receiver commands that level of respect from defensive backs where they're willing to commit penalties rather than let him run free, that tells you everything about the threat level we're dealing with. McVay wrapped up his thoughts by acknowledging that, yes, he remembers that conversation with Adams, but now they're focused on what they can control moving forward. He expects Adams to have a good week, and more importantly, Adams has already been having a great week in practice leading up to this next challenge. The urgency in McVay's tone when he talks about this being a great challenge this week should have every Rams fan on the edge of their seat, because our offensive coordinator turned head coach knows exactly how to maximize talent, and he's got one of the most talented receivers in football hitting his stride at the perfect time. Let's be real about what we're witnessing here. The Rams went out and made a bold move, acquiring Adams, and there were questions about how quickly he could integrate into a new system, develop chemistry with Stafford, and make an impact in a playoff race. Those questions have been answered emphatically. What we're seeing is a receiver who isn't satisfied with just being good, or even very good. Adams wants to dominate, and he's backing up that desire with elite preparation and performance on Sunday. The timing of this couldn't be better for our playoff aspiration. We're entering the critical portion of the schedule where every single game carries enormous weight in terms of playoff seeding and potentially winning the division. Having a weapon like Adams, who is not only performing at an elite level, but is also hungry to keep improving and maintain momentum, is exactly what championship teams need. This isn't a player who's coasting on reputation or past accomplishment. This is a competitor who watched the BY Week rankings and immediately thought about how he's going to reclaim ground and help this team win football games. The connection between Adams and Stafford is evolving into something truly special, and we're only scratching the surface of what this tandem can accomplish together. Stafford has always been a quarterback who thrives when he has elite weapons he can trust, and Adams has built a career on being the most trustworthy receiver in football. That combination is lethal, and defensive coordinators across the league are losing sleep trying to figure out how to slow it down. The answer is they probably can't, especially when both players are locked in, like they are right now. What makes this situation even more promising is the maturity and professionalism both Adams and McVay are displaying. Adams might have the competitive fire telling him to play every single snap without breaks, but he also has the wisdom to appreciate rest when it's mandated. McVay might want to ride the hot hand forever, but he also understands the bigger picture of keeping his players fresh for January football. This balance between competitive hunger and strategic thinking is what separates pretenders from contenders in this league. As we look ahead to the remaining schedule, having Adams operating with this level of motivation and physical health is a massive advantage. Every defense the Rams face is going to have to account for him on every single snap, which opens up opportunities for Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, Tyler Higbee, and our running backs to make plays. When you have multiple weapons and one of them is demanding double teams and safety attention on every play, the entire offense elevates. That's the multiplier effect of having an elite receiver, and that's exactly what Adams provides. The preparation aspect that McVay highlighted cannot be overstated. In the NFL, talent only takes you so far. The teams that win consistently are the ones where talented players combine their physical gifts with meticulous preparation and intentional practice habits. Adams is showing our entire receiver room what championship-level preparation looks like, and that cultural impact might be just as valuable as the touchdowns he's scoring. When young players see a future Hall of Famer working that hard in practice and studying that intensely, it raises the standard for everyone. Right now, at this very moment, we have a receiver who is playing at an elite level, feels great physically, is developing stronger chemistry with our quarterback every single week, and is absolutely determined to dominate the rest of this season. That's not speculation or hope. That's reality based on what Adams himself stated and what Coach McVay confirmed. This is happening right now in our locker room, and it's creating the kind of positive momentum that can carry a team deep into January and potentially February. The fact that Adams is thinking about those statistical leaderboards and feeling motivated to make up ground shows that individual pride is still pushing him, but he was also clear about wanting to do his part to help the team win. That's the perfect balance. We want players who care about their personal performance because that individual excellence contributes directly to team success, but we also need players who understand that winning is the ultimate goal. Adams gets it, and that's why this acquisition is looking more brilliant with each passing week. So here we are, Rams fan, with one of the most dangerous receivers in football telling us he wants to keep rolling, a head coach who knows how to maximize that talent, and a quarterback who is building championship-level chemistry with a new weapon. The pieces are aligning at exactly the right time. And if you're not excited about what the rest of this season holds, you haven't been paying attention. This team is building something special, and Adams is making it clear that he's here to dominate and win. That's the mentality we need. That's the energy that creates playoff runs, and that's exactly what's happening in Horns Nation right now. The rest of the league better be ready, because this Rams offense is about to make some serious noise down the stretch, and Davante Adams is leading the charge with the exact intensity and focus that championship teams require. Let's go Rams! Make sure you hit that subscribe button right now so you never miss another update on your Los Angeles Rams. Smash that like button if you're fired up about Ty's championship mentality, and drop a comment below answering this question. Do you think Davante Adams will finish the season with double-digit touchdowns? Option A, absolutely, he's unstoppable right now. Option B, close, but he'll fall just short of 10 scores.